Dana White is the uncle we all wanted but never had. He gifted a cool $250,000 to Kyle Forgerd of the Nelk boys on his birthday. And while it is his money at the end of the day, the birthday gift hasn't gone down too well with the MMA community. Keep watching this video as we tell you more on the outrageous birthday gift. First up, let's talk about what happened. President Dana White and the Nelk boys go a long way back. This isn't the first time they've been involved in exchanging high-value gifts. Believe it or not, the Nelk boys actually gifted Dana White a Maybach van worth more than $300,000 about a year back. So White handing over a cool 250 key to Kyle for his birthday isn't a big deal or something. They're used to giving each other some really expensive gifts. But you know what else would be pretty cool? If he was that generous to his fighters as well. He's under some tremendous pressure as the entire fight world is enraged after seeing Dana hand over the extravagant gifts while fighters continue to leave the UFC every single day because of pay issues. Think about it. Some fighters have to step inside the cage like at least 4 or 5 times before they can even make that sort of money. Then you also have the whole bonus thing. Even a legendary status fighter at the UFC gets a bonus between 50 and 80 grand per fight. So raking up 250 grand in bonuses would take around 3 or 4 fights alone. And it's not even about the money at this point. Dana White is picking clear favorites. Just a couple of months ago, we heard how the Nelk boys will be able to get to pick a fighter of their own, sponsor him, and have him fight in the UFC. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it's kind of weird how a couple of YouTubers can pretty much do anything they want since Dana is their rich buddy. Also, we're not sure how legit this is, but Dana is worth an estimated $500 million and takes home about $20 million per year from the UFC. 20 mil? UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou only makes $500,000 to $600,000 per fight. Times that by 2 or 3 fights per year, and you're looking at $1 million or slightly more than that in a year. But White isn't just minting money, he's giving it away like there's no wage issue in the first place. Anyway, you might think that we're blowing this thing up and making it much bigger than it really is, but we're not. The entire fight world is criticizing him for how he handles affairs inside and outside the UFC. Outside, if you have a generous person who doesn't care about cash and just gives it away as gifts, but inside the UFC, even some of the promotion's most prized fighters accuse him of acting like a drug dealer and trying to control everything. Next, fighters are starting to call foul. Jake Paul straight up called Dana White a after hearing about the gift. He talked about how the boss can't even pay his flyweight champion enough money, but is hanging out with already rich dudes helping him get even more rich. And if you think it's only Jake who's doing the talking all the time, you're wrong. A lot of UFC fighters have joined in on the action talking about the whole incident. Some have tried to keep cool, whilst others have come up with snarky comments to make sure the boss knows what he did isn't right. Aljamain Sterling tagged Dana White and tweeted how his birthday is on the 31st of July and he can't wait to see what he's gonna get from the boss. Dan Hardy came up with a pretty cool suggestion for the boss too. He thinks Dana should get every fighter in the top 15 a cool $250,000 for their next birthday. He's got a point. It's actually the fighters who make him all that money. But these were probably the most decent comments coming from the fight world. Everyone else didn't bother sugarcoating the matter and went off at White. Former UFC fighter John Fitch tweeted how Dana's just giving away the money he stole from his fighters. Anyway, he's been able to shake off these comments in the past, but it's not going to work this time around because active fighters have always been a bit hesitant when it comes to speaking about fighting wages. And that's mainly because they're pretty much owned by their contracts. Not a really good move, Uncle Dana, but are they really separate matters? Former fighter and legendary referee John McCarthy has also weighed in on the whole issue, and to be honest, it feels like he's just siding with Dana for the sake of siding with him. Know what I mean? Apparently, he thinks it's a separate matter from the company since it's his money, and he can do whatever he wants with it. If you're going by logic alone, then yeah, sure, we wouldn't want anyone else telling us how to spend our money. But this is a company matter, since this is where he makes his money from. He makes a fortune from fighters taking risks inside the octagon, and in the hopes of putting food on the table. Anyway, fans have started to burn Kyle as well, throwing comments like how Dana has given him more than he pays 90% of his roster. And even if Big John is right about fighting wages being a separate issue, then when is your boy gonna address that? Is he gonna give out another $1 before he steps up and takes ownership of his fighters? Because for now, it only seems like he's interested in the money they make and nothing else. Time for some more news on the UFC. Let's talk about the Ultimate Challenger. Khamzat is a certified gangster. He's like a time bomb just waiting to explode, and all he's looking for is his next big fight. And while he's pretty close to getting a shot at Kamaru Usman for the lightweight title, we reckon he'll still need to take on someone like Colby before the boss finally considers him. But if the Nigerian Nightmare is able to defend his title against Leon Edwards, then this next challenger will most probably be the Wolf. Despite all the hype surrounding the Chechen-born fighter, Kamaru isn't worried one bit, as he claims it's his job to prove that Khamzat isn't on his level. In fact, he claims he's actually excited to take on Khamzat because, for starters, he's a new face, and he brings an energy not many fighters have. So if this actually ends up happening, it'll be a really good fight. But we can't count Khamzat out. Up next, not a good enough move move though. We think Kamaru is a bit confused. He's talking about how he's excited about the whole Khamzat thing, but at the same time, he's talking about moving up to the light heavyweight division. It would be pretty unfair if Kamaru went up without facing Khamzat, to be honest. It would almost seem as if he's running away from him. And we get it. If he manages to win against Edwards, that will be his 6th consecutive title defense, the most in the history of the promotion. So he might be thinking he owns this division and it's time to conquer the next division or something. But sorry to say, he needs to defeat Khamzat before he can make a move up to a weight class, or call himself the best for that matter. We're not sure why Dana is avoiding that fight so much. Does he know Khamzat has what it takes to dethrone one of the greatest welterweights of all time? Anyway, moving up to light heavyweight isn't a good move if you ask us. Finally, the most ambitious man in the league, Alex Volkanovski, the GOAT of the featherweight division, is ready to climb up the ladder and demolish lightweights as he has his eyes set on a completely new target. He's probably going to be defending his featherweight title against Rodriguez or Ortega, but after that, he's moving up a division to take on whoever's holding the belt. His ambition to become the first active double champ of the UFC is a first. Like, we've heard about double champs before, but an active double champ is out of this world. Just recently, Volka issued a warning to the #1 contender, Charles Oliveira, that he's coming for the belt. And even though Charles is a beast, if there's any man to rock him, it just has to be Alex. Also, you have to give credit to the Australian. If you think about it, he's done enough to go down as a UFC legend, but the fact that he's willing to risk it all only to achieve even more greatness just goes to show you how determined he really is. That's it from our side, folks. So what do you think? Did Dana officially cross the line? And do you think Big John is right about the gift and pay being separate matters? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.